song is now online.
Couldn't waste it. Opportunity knocks and you take it. Which in my place?
Welcome to the GOM TV Averatec-Intel Classic. My name is Nick Plott, also known as Tasteless, and with me is Susie Kim, also known as Little Susie. How are you doing?
I'm good. Here we are for another week. This is the last week of the round of 32.
Yes.
And after today, we will decide who the last 16 players will be as we head into the last month of the year.
It's going to be pretty cool, and we kind of have an interesting lineup today, actually. This is a good day for playing Protoss because every single game involves a Protoss. We have 3 Protoss versus Zergs, believe it or not, and a Protoss versus Terran. Let me go ahead and just say who's playing first. We got Much against, I want to say this correctly, is it HoeJJa?
I would think so.
It's HoeJJa.
HoeJJa.
And, of course, after that, we're going to have 2 Sky against Godzilla, who you probably know better as Cal. He uses Godzilla as his name in this tournament. Midas against Backo. Midas, a pretty old-school gamer. Backo, also a player that got very far in Season 1 of the GOM TV Classic. And finally, we're going to have Jaedong against Tempest. So that should be pretty cool.
Backo was the one who knocked out Stork, actually, last season.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he's quite a strong player. Very interesting style. I do enjoy watching him play. And, our map lineup. Do we have that? Yeah, it's right here, actually.
Our map lineup for this week is still the same that we've had. Why can't I remember it? What is it? Destination, Neo, Requiem, and Medusa. And then starting next week for the round of 16, we're going to be having Neo, Requiem, Medusa, and the Chupungyeong kind of got upgraded, and now it's called Shin Chupungyeong. Shin means new, so new Chupungyeong, and that's the map lineup starting next week for the round of 16.
As you guys probably know, we always come up with new maps for the players. They want StarCraft to always be fresh. And, if we have a really good map, we might bring that one back in here to kind of shift up the metagame again. But it sounded like with one of those maps, we had to tweak it a little bit because it might not have been fair in all matchups. And we want to make it as fair as possible.
Absolutely. And, a lot of people have been saying, oh, this one's Protoss heavy or this one's whatever. But, if you haven't noticed, this, not even our season, but in the MSL and OSL, it's been a Protoss year,
Yeah, it has been, actually. So a lot of Protoss players doing quite well lately.
Absolutely. And on that note, as of right now, we only have Effort being the only Zerg player in the round of 16. And if Jaedong wins today, then Jaedong will be in it. Well, who are the Zergs we have today? We have HoeJJa, we have 2 Sky, and we have Jaedong. So of these 3 guys, if they all make it out there, then hopefully they'll add to the lineup of Protoss.
The Zergs are having a tough time for whatever reason in this season. But, definitely I think Jaedong's chances are pretty good. And bear in mind, Effort, he's like one of these up-and-coming Zergs. So I think he certainly has the potential to do very well in the tournament also. It's interesting, to see Protoss is doing well this year because historically, Protosses were not always dominating, especially in the early days of StarCraft. It was actually, there was a period of time where it was really almost all Terrans.
Yes,
you look at the top 10, it'd be like 8 Terrans were there.
Nada, Boxer, Zelos.
And others as well.
Yeah.
And now that's kind of changed. And then there was a period, of course, where Savior was dominating as well as some other Zergs. So, take who's winning now with a grain of salt because it says something about the metagame, not actually just StarCraft itself, as in this race is clearly the best.
Right, and it all depends on how they play it. It just means that Protoss players right now have figured out a way to beat out Zerg and Terran, and then soon we'll have one up and rising star, I'm sure, that'll figure something else out, and that's the beauty of StarCraft.
Yeah, that's what makes the game so good.
It's just such a fluid game that no one strategy will always work against a certain opponent.
Yeah, when somebody figures one thing out, then, it shifts and, they start doing, something new, and each of the races are studying how their other races are really getting played so that they can kind of respond to that accordingly. It's quite exciting, actually, to see it all unfold. Okay, so Much...
Our first lineup.
Yeah, Much versus HoeJJa. This is going to be a tough match for HoeJJa. He's definitely the underdog here. And one thing to bear in mind with Much, he's going to be going to the military soon.
Yeah. So I heard he's one of the older players we have here tonight.
Yes, he is.
Which is kind of funny. He was born in 1984, which, is not that old if you think about it. However, as a pro gamer here in Korea, we have kids. I mean, Baby was born in 94.
Yeah.
So you could just see, Much is considered one of the veteran players, definitely.
Yeah, really. He's a very strong player, but because he's going to the military soon, he wants to do as well as possible in this tournament to really make a big impact.
All right, here we go. These are the last 16. Well, here we have Jaedong is going to be play against Tempest, and then that winner will play Pretty. Here we have Stork, who is going to be playing against whoever wins between Backhoe and Midas. And in this set, it's just Flash versus Rock versus whoever wins between Much and HoeJJa versus Bisu. And then here we go. This one's set already with... My Korean names are so bad. I'm sorry, guys. I tried my best. I have it written down here.
I think it was pretty fast.
Yeah,
too.
It did go pretty fast.
But yeah, again, this should be an exciting match. Or Destination, some of the Protosses are struggling a little bit on this map. It's a pretty tricky map, but mid-game the Zergs can have a tough time too. Basically, not your first expansion, but maybe your second is pretty hard to keep. It's really easy to lose expansions in the mid-game, so you want to be very careful and have good defense everywhere. And plus, you can even attack an expansion, and then while they're trying to defend it, run into their main. So, lots of different stuff can go on here.
It is a pretty tricky map, and we could see a lot of different styles of play because of it. And, this is, as we've been saying, this is the season of upsets.
This is the season of upsets. We've had a lot of upsets, actually. I'm kind of shocked. Our bracket looks completely different from last season.
It looks different from what we would have even expected
at
the beginning of the season.
We had that contest where you could guess who's going to win. And I don't know if anybody's going to, be able to pick the correct winner for all the brackets because there's been so many upsets, so many unusual games here.
Absolutely.
Both the players are in the game now. So I think after we get done introducing each of them via our camera shots, we're going to get this going.
Oh, it's kind of funny. All right. Yeah, I was going to translate for you, but I think the game is going to start now. So here we go. Here is Much versus HoeJJa in the first set.
Well, we got to get this shot first. And it looks like... as we can see here.
Here is today's matchups. Destination, Neo Requiem, and Medusa being our maps. There you go. Much versus HoeJJa, True Sky versus Godzilla, Midas, Backhoe, and Jaedong versus Tempest.
Yeah, and that actually should be, as we can see here, it's going to be pretty awesome. Susie, it's sometimes it's funny when you get owned by the graphic instead of me. Usually it's me that gets owned by that thing. So, change can be good sometimes. I think our second map, Medusa, also a very interesting map for Protoss versus Zergs. It seems like a lot of the Protoss players are going Corsair into Reaver and then massing up a lot of units. So not hardcore Corsair Reaver, but certainly a map where you can really dominate with a fast shuttle. Mm-hmm. So that should be pretty interesting. Can you say the map name again?
Chupungnyang.
Chupungnyang. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue, does it? It's another map that can be pretty tough for both races, but that's also very dependent on which build order they open up with. So we're gonna have to wait and see with that one. That also may be a fast expansion map as well.
Again, they did change it up a little bit, so we'll see how that works.
I kind of want to wait and see,
and we'll see that next week. Kind of excited to see what they did to make it any different.
Yeah, they definitely tweaked it a little bit. Which is always good. They've done that with a lot of maps, even like Colosseum, for instance, and many others. Because actually, I think Requiem, it's Neo Requiem now, but there's a reason for that. And it's good if you can just change the map a little bit. If it's already a really good map, you can just make it that much better. And, little things on the map can play such a huge role in certain matchups. Let's say you have a big bridge versus a small bridge. That might be a lot harder for one race to defend with. So that could change the entire build order. They may have to open up with a completely different strategy. So it's really cool. It's totally awesome.
All right. Well, I just realized we're not going to start because now we have to introduce our players. We haven't done that.
Yeah, let's do that now. There's Much.
Here is Much. He's been pretty good. Kessler's ranked him 12. He's had 166 wins and 133 losses. His last 10 games, he's at 4 wins, 6 losses, and versus Zerg, not so great. 3 wins, 7 losses. But actually, one thing about Much is that he is apparently in the CJ as a very, very nice guy. He's the guy that does all the chores that nobody else wants to do. He's the guy. No, I was talking about him. They're like, this guy. He's actually well known for the Firebat Hero Heart. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
And where he went ahead and drew a little heart against Firebat Hero in the middle of a game, and then later on in that
pylons, right?
Yes.
He made a heart with pylons against Firebat Hero. That's dangerous, man. Because Firebat Hero is crazy, man.
He tried to take that down with vultures and everything, but at the end in his interview, he said, that was a gift for Savior, and it was pretty cute. Well, he Much is also let's see, he is CJ's Protoss, main Protoss guy.
Yeah, he's their lead Protoss player now. Now remember, this is a guy who actually lost last time because his scarabs were just so bad.
Oh.
It was a bit shocking. Now here is HoeJa.
Here is HoeJa with a bunch of fans sitting out.
Yeah, he's got some fans down here right now cheering him on. This is a pretty big match here. If he can actually manage to defeat Much, it would be pretty exciting. But I'm not really sure exactly what he has planned. Much is a pretty well-rounded player. He doesn't seem to have one super weakness. He doesn't have that Achilles heel, which means HoeJa's going to have some pretty strong overall play. And that can be pretty tough. But then again, look, HoeJa got this far here already, and he was seated pretty deep down in the tournament. So
yeah.
This is a pretty exciting moment for him. It could be pretty big. If he makes it into the final 16 out of, I believe it was 180-something people in this tournament, I mean, that's huge. That really helps out a lot. So KTF really has their fingers crossed here, hoping that he can do well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, he's not as... He's actually considered one of the older players born in 1990. I don't know how that works. But, he's never really had a chance to shine. This is his only chance, really. Because KTF has luxury 815, these other players, these other Zerg players, to represent their team, he never really gets a chance to make it big. So here he is, and Goem basically trying to prove himself to the team, saying, "Hey, put me in the lineup." I'm
and
just
the whole team's watching. All of the world is really watching him right now. Goem TV, the Classic is getting bigger and bigger here. This is the only tournament that has nonstop international coverage, and it has the largest prize pool, the most players here. So this is a big moment for him, and if he can make it to the final 16, props to him. But he's got to go through Much first, and Much is just so damn good.
He is pretty good.
I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it.
He is pretty good, so...
All right, well, they're in the game. As we've already said, they're ready. So in a few moments here, we're going to get this started, and I can't wait to see exactly, what both these guys have planned out on these maps. It should be pretty cool.
It should be pretty interesting. I mean, Protoss versus Zerg is actually a very fun matchup to watch.
It's quite interesting. It's one of these matchups that can end very quickly, in under 5 minutes, or it can be one of these matchups that all the minerals on the map are mined out, and we're using Dark Archons and Queens and all these technical units because of the odd situation they've been put in. So, and another thing to bear in mind is there's so many different things both races can do to each other. It's a very exciting matchup. It's a very difficult matchup, though, to master. It's one of these matchups that actually Protoss thought was imbalanced for years until eventually these top players figured out that they need to stop 2 gateway zealot rushing all the time and start teching faster. The fast expansion thing really changed the game when people realized you can actually get away with that if you just practice it enough.
Yeah. Oh, I think we're going to start soon. I don't really want to get owned by that intro.
Yeah, it sucks. If you get owned twice, then it's just brutal, man. You should have seen me season 1, man. I was getting owned all over the place. We don't have mics in our ears, so we actually have to play off what the Korean commentators are saying back there. But yeah, it's okay though. It happens, Susie.
All right.
And I will be the first to give you if it does. All right, get ready. It's going to be awesome.
.com is now online.
All right, it's on. Here's Much at the north. And down at the south is going to be HoeJa. Much is, of course, a pretty scary opponent to be facing off again. I'm kind of curious exactly what HoeJa has planned. He has to be feeling pretty good. He got this far in the tournament, but can he stop a player as strong, as solid as much.
Well, I mean, if anything, this is his chance to really prove himself to the team that, he is also a Zerg that not to be reckoned with, He needs to be able to show his team, KTF, that he can do it too. He's not just a Zerg that's going to sit and be a practice partner.
Yeah, exactly. And, that's exactly what all these practice partners really want, ultimately, is to just prove that they're more than just somebody you train with. They're the person that's on the stage representing the team. Fast expansion is going to be the opener of choice here from Much. And he's going to go ahead and scout here. This is very standard timing here. Protoss have to always scout the Zerg early. I've seen a couple builds where people don't scout the Zerg early, but I just don't understand how that could actually play out safely, because the Zerg can do so many things from the beginning all the way into the late game. The Zerg have a ton of choices. So Protoss has to be scouting the opposing player, figuring out, okay, what is he doing? How do I respond to that? It's a lot about Protoss countering the Zerg early. But at the same time, the Zerg needs to analyze what the Protoss is doing exactly so he can open up the best way possible, too. Which is one of the reasons why you see the Star Gate picked many times, because that way they can get the Corsair out there, they can drive away the Overlords, and then the Zerg's in the dark, at least for the time being. All right, he's doing a little bit of harassment here. You can see he's mining from the mineral patches or attacking the drones. And that's actually really good. Whenever you see the Zerg and he does not have a lot of drones, like a situation like this where he's going to be 9-pulling, any drone that you stop from mining for even just a second actually has huge impact on the Zerg's economy, even if you stop them for just a second or two. And this is, of course, the 9-pull build. This got popular about, I would say, maybe 5 years ago was when this thing really just started to take off and everybody was 9-pulling.
They're saying KTF fighting... They're friends of HoeJJa. They went to high school with him, and one of the signs says, we know your past. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. But
we know what you did.
We know what you did last summer.
Nice. He's got stalkers. No, he's got friends down here that are supporting him. That's awesome. All right, well, this is also great link micro here by HoeJJa. You see, he has one Zergling actually right-clicked on the probe, and the other ones are there to try to flank and surround him while the probe runs away from that one initial one. Oh, nice. That drone just got right in the way there and slowed him down. Well, we have 8 lings out. If he gets any more, we can suspect that... what is that drone doing? Maybe he's going to expand again. But yeah, if he gets any more Zerglings, we can expect to have aggressive play here by the Zerg. 9-pulling is easily one of the best builds. You can do it against any race, although you have to make different decisions after the 9-pull happens. Oh, I think I know what he might be doing here. You can slip a drone in the back here, mine that mineral patch over there, and slip into the main. I know because I lost an iCup game to that, and I was pissed, man. And I don't know if Much is actually prepared for this. Oh, is he going to build a hatchery?
Is he going to do a sunken rush? Is that what he's doing?
I don't know. I thought he was going to just mine from the minerals. Okay, well, I mean, either would be interesting. Okay.
Oh, no, yeah, he's...
Oh, my God, I think he's going to try to glitch the links over the mineral patch, not actually mine it.
If he gets one up there. He got one.
Okay. This is so weird. I have not seen some player do this in a while.
What? Oh, he got one in there, and he's got another one.
If he keeps mining that, he can eliminate all the mineral patches, just get right into the main, and really start taking out his opponent completely and totally. These 2 links that have already been glitched over, well, it's pretty much impossible, if he keeps them alive, impossible for the Protoss to really get the necessary defenses here. This is a very brilliant move here by HoeJJa. I really like how he's playing this out. Now, one cannon is warping over here by the Nexus. But it actually looks like it's going to manage to finish. Meanwhile, he's rushing for the Spire. Maybe he's going to go for mutas. One Zealot is out here. Again, fantastic micro here by both of these guys.
And the cannon has finished now.
All right, well, he's moved those units up into his up into the main there, but I don't know exactly what's going to happen from here. It almost seems like it could have gotten more links had he just mined the mineral patches after he glitched the first one in there, but clearly this is a pretty new strategy. We don't see this all that often. And he is going to go for the Spire, so Much is going to have to get a Stargate up here. Either that or defend with cannons and an Archon. Alright, well, he sent out 2 Zealots. That's usually to force his Zerg to make some extra Zorglians or at least a Sunken Colony back at home as a precaution. Then the Protoss turns around. The Stargate is on the way. Protoss is playing really well right now, I gotta say. Well, you can see HoeJJa is just running around here. He's trying to take a look at how many more Zealots his opponent's making. And not allow any scouting probes to get directly into his base. As you can see, HoeJJa does not even get a Sunken Colony here. He's completely relying on his ability to control Zerglings to take out scouting probes. All right, well, 3 Zealots are now officially, now 4, excuse me, yeah, moving out here. And he is, in fact, going to go right to the main. There's a Panda Bear guy. We're probably going to have to see some defense here from HoeJJa, unless HoeJJa just wants to defend with Mutalisk. But you don't want to let the Zealots get any drones. It just really damages you. Okay, he's managed to get in there. He's got to move the drones. Move the drones. He loses Zergling. HoeJJa is just going to go straight for the Mutalisks here. But if these Zealots get the hatchery, that'll be huge. All right, here we go. Nice micro here. Drones moving out now. He manages to control the drones pretty well there and slip them through. But the Zealots are going to be taken out here. Now, this may have been what Much wanted. He wanted to have his opponent make a lot of extra Zerglings, so that way he couldn't quite get as many Mutas out in time. And he could assume his opponent's getting Mutalisk because he doesn't see any Hydras at all so far. Otherwise, there would have been Lurkers there to defend that. All right, we have 1 cannon in the main, 1 Corsair guarding that. Pretty light defense here by Much. He's not going to spend any extra time getting a lot of defense here. I don't know if we're going to see... Where are the Mutalisks? Is he just going to go for the Scourge?
Oh, no, there's a Hydralisk den now.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to switch to the Lurker Tech. Sometimes Zerg players just get the Spire out here, and they get the... they just try to get a few Scourge here to get in the way of any, Corsairs that are out here. And then meanwhile, they tech up and use those Scourge later on to take out observers, which will be able to spot the Lurkers defending their expansion. All right, some more Scourge are out here. So he is going to continue pumping Scourge. We can assume that in a little bit here, we're going to have some Lurkers. Hey, Susie, what do you call a whole bunch of Scourge making love at once? A Scourgy. Oh, that is the most immature thing I've ever said in my life.
How long does that take for you to think of?
I thought of that on the subway, and I giggled to myself. Okay, here is the Dark Templar. Now, because the Scourge are out here, Scourge really, I don't know, I call them Scourge, I'm kind of stuck saying that. It's like my tendency to call them Vulture Bikes. The fact that there's so many Scourge on the map here, he's actually going to have a tough time actually getting the DTs to be covered. He's going to try to slip in here into the main. No, Much is not controlling well at all. That was a big mistake. Had he hacked through that 1 Zergling that was blocking his way to the ramp, he might have been able to slip up there and do some damage, but so far no avail. Overlord speed is up too, so he's going to be able to cover from Dark Templars pretty easily here.
Oh.
It looks like that early harassment really did slow Much down a lot, which is too bad. I mean, that's a tough situation that he's in right now. Now he's going to get mass Hydras.
Yeah,
actually,
speed up.
I've been having a hard time predicting HoeJJa here, it looks like. I assumed he was going to go for the Lurker Contain. Instead, he's going to go for the Speed Hydras and try to control the ramp from here. And then because he got Overlord speed that quickly, I'm questioning if he may go for drop whenever the player manages to break out. I'm just not sure right now. All right, well, one of the things about these 2 bridges here is that it can really act as a funnel here. If you're not careful, you can lose a lot of units, and we can see Much is struggling to get out of the 2 bridges right now. He is going to sneak an expansion up over here, though. If he gets the expansion up, if he gets enough cannons, he'll be very safe. And it seems like HoeJJa's pretty preoccupied, I should say, in just focusing on this area right outside of his base.
All right, here's some Mutalisks coming up, and
There's a
Mixing
Panda
it
Bear.
up, yep.
All right, look, nice storm there by Much. Whoa,
Oh,
those
goodness.
are two really good storms. Those Hydralisks are not going to be all that powerful. That was about as good of a storm as you could get away with. It didn't look like a lot of them died, but they definitely all took a tremendous amount of damage.
I mean, that helped him out a lot because now Much can get out of his base there and cross that bridge.
He just totally knocked off that contain. Now, look at this. Hydra Mutalisk, this is generally considered a risky mid-game mixture. He's going to try to use the Mutalisk to take out the Templars here. Here we go! One down. Now they're all gone. And the reason why he does that is because that way the other player can't storm. He just doesn't have any storms, which makes the mass Hydra quite powerful.
Well, I was just going to ask you, when a player goes Hydras, I usually don't see Mutalisk, and vice versa. When I see Mutas, I don't see Hydra. How come? Why is that?
Because if you can get the lurkers up and get very stable defense or containment, it's usually a lot stronger. But this is a style of play that's not easy to get away with. If he can, actually, it's tough to say who's going to win here. A lot of zealots. And a surprising amount of damage being dealt here by those Hydralisks, which were softened up by those two excellent storms. This is definitely going to keep that expansion safe. I'm surprised that Much didn't retreat there. There was a period where he killed a lot of units, but he clearly wasn't winning. And, yeah, that was a bit of a shocker there. And that cannon is just ruining it for everybody.
All right, looks like he's going to take out this expansion here.
Oh,
over at 2 o'clock. Yep.
He is going to get the expansion. I assumed there was going to be more cannons there. Much is not playing well at all. Not only did he just throw away his main army, but he just, well, he's not getting the Archon out of his base with the cannon he blocked himself in with. And, yeah, he didn't have enough cannons. Yeah, everything's going wrong for him right now. Meanwhile, take a look at that. HoeJJa is going to take his fourth. The Panda Bear guy clearly likes Zerg. He's staying on the creek now. He's going to get his feet a little sticky over there. And now you can see he's just going to use a few Mutalisks here. He wants to see if he can't just keep his opponent focused inside of his base. Uh-oh. This back door to his main could play a huge role here. As the Protoss is going to move out, the Zerg can counterattack right into the main here. Let me tell you something. HoeJJa knows how to play this map. HoeJJa's practice definitely paid off. I don't feel like Much is really doing
and there goes
anything impressive. Oh, this is bad news for HoeJJa. I mean, excuse me, for
Much.
He can take out the gateways. He puts a lurker egg on the ramp to block it off from the main army there. This is huge. He's going to try to get off a few storms there. He takes out the pylon. Gateway's unpowered right now. Meanwhile, Muta's cleaning up anything that's outside the front here.
Those eggs have a lot of HP on them.
Well, they just, actually it's their armor type. It's really interesting. They just don't take that much damage. Yeah. And finally manages to get up here. He may try to snipe the Archon. No, there's no Observer here. Where the hell's the Observer? Much is playing awfully. Oh my god, this is really bad. Much is just completely and totally falling apart here. Oh man. Wow.
And here comes the next army.
Much is terrible this game. And you can see now he's going to fly in here with the Mutalisk, do a little bit more harassment. Much can't even deal with this one lurker in his base right now. And now he's going to run in here to the front. If he can get over to where that observatory is and the robotics bay, he can actually just pull off a win right now. Much may even GG this out.
Well, here he goes, trying to take out the robotics. And, there's the Observer now.
There's the Observer now. If he uses Mutas right, he can snipe it with Scorch, or he could even use the Hydras. He has no Overlord there. But take a look at how many Zealots are going to get killed here because of how powerful Lurkers are. This is ridiculous. HoeJJa is about to win this. That is that. It is that simple. Wow. GG any second. Much has just been crushed in a pretty big upset here.
Yeah, there's the GG.
There it is.
GG.
GG. Bam.
There
Look at that
is.
follower. He just beat Much in a pretty technical game here.
That was some great decision play by HoeJJa there.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you can tell he definitely, HoeJJa was definitely on the ball there. Much not looking good right now. Probably pretty stressed out, especially after a game that he lost like that. he's going to have to gather himself and play better in the next round. It's just that simple.
Just that simple, huh?
It's just that simple. Actually, it's really not that simple at all. It's actually really complicated what happened back there, but it seemed as though it wasn't even like he was making bad decisions. He just wasn't playing very well at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, I think HoeJJa just had a better idea of how to utilize that map.
Yeah, I think so. It's a tougher map for Protoss, I think, in the grand scheme of things. But bear in mind, the maps aren't that imbalanced in StarCraft. It's not one of these things where it's like, oh, he's on this map. It's impossible for him to win. So, I don't know. He'll have to play better on Neo Requiem.
Yeah, I was going to say, so now when you have Neo Requiem, it is a 4-player map, I do believe, right?
Yes.
And so now, we know that he can't just go straight to his opponent. He's going to have to scout out. He's going to have to find what's going on, basically. And, we'll see how this one pans out.
We'll see if he can play better this time around. Now, we've had some very interesting games here on Requiem. It seems like a lot of the Protoss players going for very, very unorthodox builds rather than the fast expansion thing. Apparently, I say rather like a British person.
You do. I didn't want to mention it, but you do.
How does it happen? I don't know. There's nobody British in my family. Probably I don't know. I'll try to stop that too. But so we're still waiting here to see what much can bring us.
Yeah, it's funny. Do you say Zealot or Zealot?
It's Zealot.
It's Zealot.
It's Zealot because that's how you say it. I think
that's not the way Koreans say it, though.
Yeah, but they're wrong. That's why.